Michael Rodebaugh is a member of the AIA and senior associate at LEO A Daily. He's the senior living market sector leader. And Mike's going to talk with us today about designing for dignity, designing with dignity in senior living, talking about factors like completeness and connection to others and holistic well-being of the residents, and developing certain goals for his office and his sector. But it was based on a personal experience, wasn't it, Mike? I mean, you were kind of 6 years ago, you had an enlightening experience, if you will.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Robert. Yes, like you mentioned, 6 years ago or so, I had a bit of an epiphany with my daughter, Erin, and her great-grandmother, Gigi, looking for a community for Gigi that was safe, comfortable, and acceptable to all generations, including my daughter, and finding that community so that my daughter isn't scared to go to, so my daughter enjoys visiting that community, really became the foundation of dignity-driven design, which is one of our big initiatives for the senior living market for LEO A Daily. That learning process that
includes building community, engaging residents with their loved ones, enabling support, and also some staff issues as well. So
absolutely,
those are the key points. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Designing for all three of those aspects, residents, staff, and the resident social circle, is our primary goal with the dignity-driven design initiative.
Great. Okay. And how's Gigi doing?
She's fantastic.
How old is she?
Gigi's 92, and my daughter will turn 13 in about a month. So
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, you've got in your work, you use the term the hospitality magic trick, and we've got a photo here showing a one of your projects. This is, I think, a memory care unit, and it looks like a bedroom, but this special magic trick stuff's going on in it. So what is a magic trick in this photo here?
Well, and again, it's hiding items in plain sight, taking into account what our residents need. What you're seeing here is a fairly simple memory care resident bedroom, but there's this one interesting feature in the edge of the room is a 1700 Kelvin LED light strip, and all that really is doing is subconsciously telling our resident what vertical is. So that resident needs to get up and use the restroom in the middle of the night. Falls are a big issue for our resident types. Huge. And also dignity. Again, if our resident can get up and go to the bathroom on their own one more time, one more night, one more day of dignity for that resident, one more day of comfort for the resident social circle, and quite frankly, one more day of, again, dignity for our staff members. If we can keep pushing these one more days with hiding some of this magic in plain sight, it really can make the collective lives better one day at a time.
Let's look at a couple of other images there. So we see a bathroom, and the shower is a safety consideration. What did you do here?
Well, again, here's the same. It's the same item, Robert. We're pushing that one day at a time initiative. We've created a very resort style looking bathroom with nice finishes, but again, we have those grab bars. We have that lipless edge. We have the ability for our residents in their physical capabilities to handle showering themselves. Again, if it's one more day, one more week, one more month, one more year, that helps our resident, it helps our staff members, it helps retention rate for our staff members, it helps residents' life and lifestyle. So a lot of this is having that resort-minded approach, that hospitality-minded approach built into our communities, but taking into the physical account the physical needs and the subconscious needs of our residents for that extra level of dignity.
Okay, but another key factor in designing for dignity is the sense of creating a community. You talk about vibrant social spaces and creating meaningful interactions and making it memorable and dynamic. Let's look at some images that do that. So we've got a dining room here in one of your projects. How does that create community, and what are we seeing here that brings that aspect into play here?
Well, so we're not creating dining halls anymore. We're not creating cafeterias. This is not a servery. This is a restaurant style approach, multiple venues within our communities for a variety of visual impacts, a variety of food impacts, a variety of social potential interactions. We want to encourage our residents to maintain a social approach. It really becomes occupational therapy in some ways, meeting new people, finding those like-minded desires and life experiences, and how they can continue those life experiences. So we're setting a stage. Again, it's going to that magic trick. We're setting that stage so that those social opportunities do show up. And it shows up not only with resident to resident, but again, social circle to resident and staff to resident. Again, creating that stage so that they have those opportunities.
Mm-hmm. And then we've got a, typical kind of a fire pit situation, and another outdoor seating arrangement here. Again, I guess opportunities to have different experiences outside, meet with more intimate groups and so forth. Is that the goal with these kinds of settings?
Absolutely. We want to take advantage of the environments that are in. A lot of our senior living communities run the gamut from the Northeast to across to Texas, where the high population of seniors live. You want to take advantage of the seasons. You want to get our residents outside. Quite frankly, vitamin D is very important. That's another thing we've learned through the pandemic is vitamin D and the importance of vitamin D. We have to also give shade opportunities. We will have an image here of a pool area with shading over it. Again,
Yeah,
what we're trying to do is provide these opportunities for that PTOT, physical therapy, occupational therapy, for our residents to continue their physical activity so that they can continue their mental activity. You give them the shade, there's less concern about too much exposure to sunlight. So that those are some of the considerations, again, in that magic trick. It looks like a resort, but at the same time, we're taking into account the physical and mental needs of our residents within that resort atmosphere.
Well, you've hinted at the whole wellness aspect, which obviously is very important in senior living,
Yes.
to create physical movement and mental stimulation and activities that get people going and doing stuff. So yeah, you mentioned the pool shot here. This is also a safety factor on this pool because the pool allows for gradual entry, does it not?
Yeah, and again, we've all seen the pools. We've seen the pool wheelchair lifts, the lifts that drop into a pool. It's not very dignified. Again, so here's that magic trick in plain sight where we incorporate ramping into the pool. We incorporate the ability for residents to go into the pool without being on display, without telling the world, I cannot do this on my own.
Yeah.
I can do it on my own. And that's, again, that magic trick in plain sight, with giving as much dignity, again, to the resident and the staff member, using that pool and encouraging that physical activity.
One of the images that I love here is this shot of a garden, and you've done some special things with how you did the planters in this garden.
Well, elevated planters are very popular, especially in memory care settings, because that is an occupational therapy approach. These are handicap accessible. You can see the undercut underneath,
Yeah.
but it's built into the landscape. It's not an afterthought. It's not a bucket or a pan or something that staff has brought out. We've incorporated some of these aspects so that our residents can get their hands in the dirt. They can plant, they can tend to the gardens, and then we'll have a nice sink right there next there. So again, it's reminding them the sink's there, wash your hands. This is a lot of occupational therapy aspects, especially for our memory care residents. Keeping them physically and mentally stimulated helps reduce the advancement of the progression related to Alzheimer's and Alzheimer's related dementia. So again, it's all that plain sight aspect, but at the same time, it really does give a great atmosphere and encourages our residents to be outside and encourages us to be active and mentally stimulated.
And a lot of this, obviously, the staff are very important in all this work, and you're building into your designs some strategies for the staff to help them overcome stress and to encourage recruitment and to enable recruitment and retention. Here's a nice staff staff relaxation restroom. What's going on there, Mike? And what are some of the other ways you've enabled the staff to have a more stress-less situation?
Well, to borrow a different statement, happy staff, happy resident. If we take care of our staff members, because they are some of the most important aspects of a community, is the staff. If they have pride in their community, if they have a sense of ownership in their community, they're going to take care of their community. They're going to take care of their residents. At the same time, we have to give them a place of respite. They need to be able to get away. They need to be able to get the exercise that they need. So it might be an independent exercise portion within the community. It might be shared aspects within the community. They also need their access to the outside space to decompress, to feel a sense of serenity or comfort. So we have to be able to think about those staff members to give them the best possible environment for them to do their jobs, because sometimes their jobs are difficult and we need to support them.
Even things like giving them a nice shower room so that when they're working long hours, they can take a break, take a shower, cool down. That's a nice thing. And you've got something you're calling mother rooms. I think others might call them lactation rooms, but what's a mother room, Mike?
Well, again, it's a place of privacy, again, supporting the various operators and how they support their staff members. We have those abilities to give a sense of privacy inside the staff area so that they could either have a private phone call, or if they need to tend to private needs, or quite frankly, there might be on-site medical support. We've gone through a mass vaccination process. There may be some HIPAA privacy aspects that are needed. So we've given that ability to have a conference room, a multi-purpose space. Again, especially in these worlds, we want to be able to program a single space multiple different ways so that we're as efficient as possible. So if we build that in, it can be a conference room, it can be a telephone room, it can be a mother room, it can be a health room. There's all kinds of flexible aspects to those spaces, but we need to make sure that they're in the right place so that it can be used in that flexible manner.
Great. Well, I think we've had a good overview of your concepts for designing with dignity for senior living. And I want to thank Mike Rodebaugh, and thanks for your advice to our community today.
I appreciate it, Robert. Thank you for the opportunity.